are going to answer comprehension questions. So this morning we are looking at answering comprehension questions, and I am going to work with you to show you the strategy that we are going to use for this method. But before we get into that, how was your weekend? I hope you had a good weekend and that you're ready and gearing to go this morning, because I know that I am. So this morning, we would be reading a passage and you will be answering questions from that passage. So we'll read aloud a passage by echoing my reading, and also we would answer questions from that passage. Okay? So let's go. I want you to get up out of your seat, and we are going to sing a little poem before we get started. Okay? So we get up out your seat, put your books away for a while, and let's go. It is called Read, Learn, Think. Okay? So it has a little jig to it. Okay? Read, learn, think. Padam. Read, learn, think. Read. Come on, kids, let's go. If you want to learn about things you don't know, read at least one book a week, and you'll be surprised how well you can speak. Read, learn, think. Read, learn, think. Read. Come on, kid, let's go. And you will want to learn about things that you don't know. Read at least one book a week, and you will be surprised how well you can speak. Read, learn, think. Okay, so we are going to get into the heart of the lesson now. Okay, remember we said that today we are answering comprehension questions. Okay, so I am going to read the passage first, and then we would read it a second time together. I would read sentence by sentence, and you would read after me. Okay? It is called Nothing in Common. Sam and Joe were best friends, but they seemed to have nothing in common. However, they always had fun together. Sam was short, but Joe was tall. Sam had rough hair, and Joe had curly long hair. Sam was good at sport and ran very fast, but Joe was as slow as a snail. Although Sam was better at sport, he had a weak arm, but Joe's arm was as strong and could throw a ball a far distance. Sam lived in a house that was high above those in his neighborhood in town, but Joe lived in a small house in the countryside. So now we are going to read that together. So you're going to echo my reading. I would read sentence by sentence, and then you would read after me. Okay? So let's go. Sam and Joe were best friends, but they seemed not to have anything in common. It's your turn, children. Very good reading. However, they always had fun together. It's your turn again. Good job. That was good reading. Sam was short, but Joe was tall. It's your turn. Good job, boys and girls. Sam had rough hair, and Joe had curly, long hair. Your turn again. You're very good readers. Sam was good at sport and ran very fast, but Joe was as slow as a snail. Your turn. Very good job. You have really good readers. Although Sam was better at sport, he had a weak arm, but Joe's arm was strong and could throw a ball a far distance. I know this is a long sentence, but let's give it a try. Let's go. Excellent job. You all are really good readers. Sam lived in a house that was high above those in his neighborhood in town, but Joe lived in a small house in the countryside. Let's begin. Very good job. Very good reading, children. You're really good readers. But remember, I said today we are looking at answering comprehension questions, and we're using the strategy QAR, or question and answer relationship. So we are going to go through that, and we are going to see how we're going to use that strategy to answer these questions. Okay? So as I said before, we are looking at question and answer relationship. Okay? When we are answering questions using this method, there are two parts: in the book, or what we call our text, or in our head. But today, we are only going to look at in the book, or in our text. So the next time you have questions to answer, you can use this strategy. Okay, as I said, we are looking at in the book. And with this, there are two parts. It is right there, or think and search. And as the name said, right there. It is right there in the passage. Or we would have to think about it and search for the answers. So let us move on further to see how we can really get down to this and use this strategy. Okay, so we are going to look at the first part, which is right there. You notice the picture that is there? You see where the arrow is pointing? Right there in the middle? Right, at that particular spot. So when you have these questions, you can look at one particular spot to find your answer. Right there, it is normally in one line or one sentence. So it is right there. So let us see how we can use this in our question, in answering our questions. Okay, so here we have an example. What are the names of the two boys in the passage? And we have to go back to our passage to get the answer. Remember, we said we are using the right there part of it. So we go back to our passage. Remember, you always go back to get your answer, and it is right there. So let's try to read through and see if we can find this answer. Remember, we say it is normally in one spot. And let me let you know a little secret. Sometimes there is a word in your question that you will find in that same sentence or in that line. So let's go. Sam and Joe were best friends, but they seemed not to have anything in common. Did you find the answer? Very good. Yes, Sam and Joe. Okay, so those are the names of the two boys in the passage. And it was right there in the sentence, in the first sentence. Okay, so here, Sam and Joe. Do you see any other name of any other children in this passage? No. So yes, this confirms that we are looking at Sam and Joe, that those are the two boys in the passage. Okay, so we just looked at right there. So now we are going to look at the other part, which says think and search. If you notice, look at the picture. Look at the picture with me for a while. You notice we have the arrows all around. So that tells us that we'll have to look all around the passage to get our answers. So we have to think about it, and then we have to search the passage to get our answer. Okay? So this time, the answer is not in one area, it is in different areas in the passage. So let's go and see if we can use this method to find our answer. Question: what words were used to describe Sam's hair, his arm, and his house? Remember, we are thinking and we are searching for our answer. So we have three different things that we have to look at: his hair, his arm, and the house. So we have to look for these, but they are not in the same place. So we're going to go to the passage to see if we can find this answer. Okay? This time we're not going to read the entire passage. You have to try to remember where you saw these words. So one of the things when we're doing comprehension, when you read the passage, you have to try to remember where you see certain words. So we are going to go through and see where, try to remember where we saw these words. Where did we see hair? Where did we see arm? Where did we see house? So we're going to go through it. So let's go through it together. So let me give you a chance to search the passage for your answer, because you have to think and you have to search. By now you should have found your answer. Very good. Let's see, look at the first part of the question. What type of hair? What word did they use to describe his hair, Sam's hair? And I know that you did adjectives already. So it shouldn't be hard for you to find these words. What did you say? Very good. Rough hair. And it is there because you have to search to get the answer. So let's read that part. Sam had rough hair and Joe had curly long hair. Good job. But there is still another part that we have to look for. You will say, very good job. You're really bright children. Weak arm. So let's read the sentence that has weak arm. Although Sam was better at sport, he had a weak arm. But Joe's arm was strong and could throw a ball a far distance. So what a weak arm. Very good, Sam. And we know that it was Sam because when it goes on further, it says he had a weak arm. And that sentence was speaking about Joe. So So Sam was the first person in that, so he there is referring to Sam. So the final part of the question. Where did Sam live? Very good. He lived high above those persons in his neighborhood in town. So there you go. So you notice that all of the answers was not in one place. We had to think about it and we had to search different places for the answer. Sam had rough hair. It is one sentence. Then we go down and we found weak arm. Then we found where he was living. So all of that, we think about it and we went through the passage and we found our answer. Okay, so let's go over what we would have done a few minutes before. We have a video to watch and we'll watch that in a while. So let's go through what we would have done so far this morning. What strategy did we look at today? So I want you to think about it and try to remember what we said we were looking at this morning. Very good job, children. Question and answer relationship. It is called QAR. Very good job. Question number 2. What are the two parts of this strategy? So remember we said that this strategy has two parts. Very good job in the book and in your head. And which one of these strategies did we look at today? Very good. Good job, you all were really listening this morning. In the book. Last question. What are the two parts we discussed? So remember we looked at in the book and we looked at two parts of in the book. Excellent. Right there and think and search. So first, we look at the right there, where we can just go to the same sentence or the same line and get our answer. Or we have to think about it and we have to search the passage for our answer. So that is what we covered today. Okay, so we're going to look at a video.
I really need help to answer reading questions.
Don't worry. Let me tell you what my friend told me to do. There are 3 types of questions to answer. Where can you find the answer? The answer may be in the text or in your head. For in the book question, the answer is right there in the text. Or you have to think and search different places in the text. Let's use the 3 Little Pigs story as an example. How many pigs are there in the story?
In this question, the answer is right there.
Let's try this question. What did the pigs use to build their houses?
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video, because that was just showing us what we would have covered today. But if you want to know the answer to the last question, join me next week for the other part of this lesson. I hope you have a good day.